Living Yoga and Wellness, and this is Begin Living Yoga. This is your second video to learn how to do Surya Namaskar A or Sun Salutation A. So if you watched the first video, we talked about how to sit, do child's pose, how to stand. So now we're going to start to move that and really link the breath and the movements together. But before we do that, I just kind of wanted to work on the breath. So there's something in yoga when we breathe we call the Ujjayi breath, and it's kind of breathing in the back of the throat. It's kind of like fogging a mirror, and it creates a gentle whisper when you're breathing in your throat. It's a contraction of the glottis. So I'll exaggerate that so you can hear. So this breath can be challenging in the beginning. I think it's easier to do on the exhale than it is on the inhale. So if you'd like to try that, it's kind of like I said, fogging a mirror. So, and then you would gently touch the lips together while you're doing that. So give that a try. And then maybe try that same breath on the inhale. So in the beginning, this breath may come and go. You may be able to do it for a couple breaths, and then you may start to breathe, like just breathe in and out of your nose. Just give it a try as we move and just see how you feel and how it goes. So we'll move to hands and knees. So coming into spreading the fingers wide, making sure the shoulders, elbows, and wrists are in a line. Protracting a little bit up in the shoulders. Squeezing that navel in toward the spine, keeping the whole core and belly nice and strong. And then making sure your hips are over your knees. So remember, we worked on that tucking of the toes and just hovering the knees to create that action, the firing up of the legs and the core, and starting to work a little bit in the arms. So you can set the knees down, and let's shift this back to child's pose. So tucking the toes and moving the seat back toward the heels. So the seat may not go all the way back, the arms may not come all the way forward, and the head may or may not come to the floor for a balasana or child's pose. So come back to that breath while you're here. On your inhale, coming up, tucking the toes, let's hover those knees again, push away from the floor, shoulders, elbows, wrists in a line, hips and knees, and tuck the toes and hover and come up. Then we'll slowly stretch the hips back to downward facing dog. Put a little bend in those knees if you need to. Slip blocks underneath your hands if this is not good for your shoulders. Like if you feel like your arms are like buckling and you're kind of in this position, really maybe try blocks underneath the hands. The arms will become nice and strong. Your hands will get used to having weight on them. Like I said, in the beginning, this is very uncomfortable. So on your exhale, bend your knees. You'll take lots of little steps to get up to the top of the mat, or maybe one big step coming up. Let the head hang. And we'll inhale the arms all the way up, exhaling Samastitihi. So we're going to work on Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A today. So we'll start from our base, from standing. So remember, you want your toes to touch, toes and heels if they can. If it's uncomfortable to do this, you can keep your big toes touching and separate your heels, which will make your feet come into a little V. If it's really, really difficult, you can bring a little bit of space between your feet. Remember, you want the legs active. You're going to be working your core. The core runs all the way up the midline of the body and also the back body. So The first thing we do in Surya Namaskar A is an inhale. And we inhale the arms up. So before we take the arms up, I want you to take your arms out and just take inventory of where your arms are. Just have them out directly in front of you. So did your shoulders lift up perhaps? Try to pull the shoulders back and down. So that's the work of your latissimus dorsi or your lats. They're gonna pull down the back. So just think pull down. Now gently bring your palms together and gently press your palms into one another. And as you do that, you'll feel your arms fire up. There's some activation here within your pecs. Your biceps are coming together. You may feel this in your triceps, all the way down your arms, even into your forearms, right? So when you're doing this inhale, the palms gently come together, gentle pressure, and inhale as you lift the arms up. Now, your shoulders may be tight, and you may not get those arms all the way up, and that's fine. So stop where you need to for right now. If it's right here, then this is where you stop on that inhale. So the next thing after the inhale, you inhale the arms up for Surya Namaskar A, and the next thing is going to be a forward bend, a fold forward. I always bring my hands to my heart or my chest. I always like to kind of touch my thumbs to my heart. This is just how I teach this and how I do this. It's very prayerful for me, so this is how I do it. And then as you come forward, the hands come down. Now, this folding forward also can be very uncomfortable, especially if your hamstrings are tight. You may start to feel a pulling here of the hamstrings and may not feel comfortable into the glutes. So you can bend your knees. When you bend your knees, it alleviates some of this pressure here. So the other thing when we fold is that we have a tendency to fold this way. So the shoulders come up, the back hunches and rounds, and we're kind of in this position here. So the way you want to fold is kind of think of like a hinging from your hips. The torso stays nice and long, and as you fold, think about your back staying flat as you come down. So bend the knees a little bit if you need to. With forward bends, the first point of connection is your ribs to your legs. So that's what you want to do first, is get those ribs onto the legs as you fold. And then eventually you will be able to fold all the way down, ribs on the legs, hands come flat to the floor. So we'll just do that part. We're just going to inhale the arms up. So inhale and exhale, folding forward. Now we're going to come back up. Inhale the arms up. Exhale the hands, Samasthiti. So when we're folding forward, that is called Uttanasana, forward fold. So when you come back up with the arms up, this is called Urdhva Hastasana. So we'll inhale the arms, exhale, folding forward. Now when you come back up, I want you to think about sort of shifting the weight just gently into the balls of your feet. Knees bend if you need to. So as you shift that weight forward, you're going to have to squeeze in your core, and your legs are going to fire and activate. And I want you to reach your arms toward the top of the mat. I really want you to reach. And as you come up, kind of scoop all the way up, and then exhale, Samasthiti. So maybe you thought you were just standing, maybe you thought you were just lifting your arms, and maybe you thought you were just bending over. But there's a lot going on in Surya Namaskar A. Generally, this is how we start the practice, and these link the breath and the movement together. They get the mind focused and concentrating. So let's just try that inhale and exhale again. Inhale the arms. Exhale, fold. Now let's bring it back up. Shift the weight a little bit forward. Scoop and inhale. You can put a little bend in the knees if you need to. Inhale the arms. Exhaling, Samastitihi. So we're going to move on from there. So inhale the arms, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Now we come to something that we call Ardha Uttanasana, which is halfway up. So the tendency when you come halfway up is to come up on the fingertips and kind of reach with the fingertips. But I'm going to teach you to keep the hands flat. Place your hands flat on the floor. Bend your knees as much as you need to get that to happen, okay? So Ardha Uttanasana really is like a lift of the head. So here, pulling the shoulders and the lats down the back. So next we're going to go into Chaturanga, which is yogi push-up. We're going to start from a plank position. So I want you to keep your shoulders, elbows, and wrists right where they are. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Step your right foot back, step your left foot back, okay? So this is your high plank position. I'm going to teach you to go all the way to the floor with this. So the elbows come by your side. It's not like regular push-up where the elbows go out. Elbows come back. They're going to graze your side. And I just want you to literally drop to the floor. Just drop yourself to the floor. And I want you to pull your elbows in by your side. So you don't want your shoulders dropping down and forward. You want them to roll back and down in this position. Your head is just gently up and looking a little bit forward. Now you're gonna bring the tops of your feet to the floor and push straight up. You can leave your legs on the floor and just push up. Roll the shoulders back and down. So now we're gonna go to downward facing dog. So I'm gonna show you the modification first. You can slide your knees in, so now you're back in this hands and knees position where we were when we started, when we went into downward facing dog. Curl the toes, and on your exhale, press to downward facing dog. So you can get to your downward facing dog that way. Or from this upward facing dog, you'll curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back for your downward facing dog. You can shift your feet around a little bit as you need to. Let the crown of your head drop. Make sure you're breathing. Now to bring this up to the top of the mat, it's like a big circle. On your exhale, you'll come up on your toes and bend your knees at the same time. Your inhale is going to bring you up to the top of the mat. So you can do lots of tiny little steps, one big step. Lift your head, keep your hands flat when you do this. Bend your knees, this is the Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, folding, Uttanasana. Now we're going to inhale the arms, reach, scoop all the way up using your core and your low back, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, hands down, Samastitihi. So before we close this practice, I'll just go ahead and flow through a Surya Namaskara A. So you inhale, the arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, bend the knees if you need to, stepping back. Chaturanga, lowering to the floor. Inhale, upward facing dog, curling the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your modification if you need it. Breathe here. On your exhale, bending the knees, the ribs and the legs come together. Maybe whatever foot you're getting ready to step up with the other one big step. Lots of tiny little steps. Lift the head, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, coming all the way up to stand, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, Samastitihi. So that's your Surya Namaskara A. Join me for another lesson coming soon.